Good evening, everybody. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child do deeds of youth, so I, made lame by fortune's dearest spite, take all my comfort of thy work and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth, or wit, or any of these all, or more, entitled in thy parts to crowned sit, I make my love engrafted to this store. So then I am not lame, poor, nor despised, whilst that this shadow doth such substance give, that I, in thy abundance, am sufficed, and by a part of all thy glory live. Look what is best, that best I wish in thee. This wish I have, then 10 times happy me. Yes, 10 times happy me, and 10 times proud. and 10 times proud to see my daughter walking radiantly up the aisle today to pronounce her marriage views, marriage vows. Probably her marriage views as well. But whereas that was a Shakespeare sonnet, whereas the father there was afflicted by nature's dearest spite, it was of course Alice whose birth dealt her that terrible blow, but who, despite this, has developed a special and unique personality and an array of strengths to overcome the deficits and problems left by nature. Peter too has had his share and has had a similar journey and faced multiple challenges. So this then is a marriage of two fighters, two copers, two overcomers, two transcenders, staking their claim on everyday life and now on a married life and whatever that may hold for them in the future. I want to acknowledge in a few words the support and help and encouragement, in particular for Alice, that she's had over the years from a very wide range of people. I'd start off by mentioning my mother Marion, who was the only grandchild that all of our grandparent that all of our children ever knew, and then moving on to Rose's family. Rose's got 2 brothers and a sister, and a lot of time was spent both before we moved to New Zealand and on holidays staying in that family, and they provided a very secure, firm background. A lot of very happy summer holidays were spent. Someone's at a Beadnell table, wherever that is, at Tom and Dawn's caravan site in Beadnell, with lovely big sand dunes, and a lot of fun was had there. And that provided Alice with a very secure sense of place where she came from, and of course that was reflected by Helen playing the pipes, the Northumbrian pipes, to acknowledge those origins in the northeast of England. I could also mention my own sisters, Mary and Jane, and their families, constant carers and people who've kept a constant interest in Alice. And that reminds me to mention that there are a lot of people, of course, who are not able to be here today, who would have liked to have been here today, and we hope that we will have contact and visits from many members of families on both sides of the family over the coming years. Moving from Newcastle upon Tyne to Thames, when Alice was just coming up to 4, we were fortunate to meet and get to know some lovely people with 4 family names cropping up time and time again. The Milburns, the Clements, the Coatsworths and the Sylvesters. So I'm very happy, it's a great pleasure to me to see those families all here tonight. One family a generation down, but to acknowledge the wonderful times that we spent with you in Thames. Birthday parties, Christmas parties, times up the Tauranga Valley, trips out on boats in Coromandel and Tacoma harbours, and the way that moulded our children's childhoods. Now, Rosaline Moira Holmes, another V8 mother and warrior. Through you, Rosie, Alice has inherited her love of music and song. And Rosie introduced Alice to the world of folk musicians. And in that world, Alice has been nurtured, encouraged as much as a person as a singer. Now, you all know who the folk musicians they are. They're the noisy ones over there. But in that world, Alice has learned not only to participate, but to shine, to entertain, and to inspire.
Yes.
There are lots of special people in that world, too many to mention, but there's a few over there at that table who've had big influence on Alice's life. Martha Louise had a special influence today and special generosity, which I will leave someone else to describe. Over the years, Alice has met other people who have accepted her, seen her qualities and stood by her. And 3 such people were chosen, or Alice chosen to be her bridesmaids, Rachel, Anna and Pamela. Thanks to them and of course to the beautiful flower girls, Juliet, Esme and Yena. Finally to Peter. Alice is fortunate to have found a man who loves her, who is caring and considerate, who gets her, and whose family is ready and willing to embrace her. I know that Alice will bring loyalty, devotion and honesty to your relationship. I must warn you that she does have some weaknesses. Try to avoid discussions on mathematics. And then there's the matter of the kitchen sink. Do whatever you can to keep Alice out of the kitchen sink, for she is the world's slowest washer-upper. I would go so far as to say the success of this relationship depends on the presence of a working dishwasher. Ladies and gentlemen, enough of my prattle. I thank you all for your attendance today. I hope you'll join in the dancing and entertainment later on. Please would you be upstanding, I've lost my own glass, and join with me if you've got anything, whether it's water, whether it's water, wine, orange juice, or even an empty glass, and join me in drinking a toast to Alice and Peter.
Alice and Peter! Yes.
Thanks, Stan. Lovely words. Sorry, there was one thing I forgot to mention earlier, and that is the guest book, which is located on the table to the left of the stage, which is the guest book. If you've got any sort of well wishes, kind words, or words of wisdom, it would mean a lot if you could take a couple of seconds to jot them down in the guest book. There are also cards on your table where you can write nice words, but I think it would be nice to have it all in one place in the guest book, so that would be much appreciated. Favourite recipes. If you can remember your favourite recipe off the top of your head, please write it down. Life hacks, favourite camping spots. Favourite recipes. There's a long list of things to write, so you really get over there at some point and write them down. The other thing is there will be a bit of an open floor at the end of the formal speeches for anyone who feels that they have something extra to share, although we are rather tight for time, so any well wishes will be much more appreciated in the guest book, but there will be an invitation to speak at the end of the speeches. On to the next speech, which is the father of the groom, Paul.
Kia ora tātou. Alice, we will get Peter to buy you a dishwasher for Christmas. I hope you're enjoying Alice and Peter's big day as much as we are. Alice, you look radiant, and your bridesmaids look beautiful as well. Great effort. It has been about 16 years since the last wedding in our family. We sincerely hope it doesn't take as long as that to marry off our next eligible bachelor. Thank you to all those who have travelled big distances to be here today. It's much appreciated. For Elise and I, today is another day of Peter's life in which our fondest hopes for him are being realised. Peter's start in life was a bit rough for him and us, and he spent his first couple of months in the intensive care unit. Many people were praying for a miracle at the time, and what you witness today is a part of that miracle coming to pass. In the years since then, Peter's will to live as full a life as possible has been seen in his impressive work ethic, his enjoyment of sport, and his very social nature. From a very young age, Peter was always keen to help with tasks around the house, while his brothers, when there was work to be done, would quietly disappear. To this day, Peter is a diligent, hard-working man with a love for staying fit and active, as well as keeping in contact with friends locally and overseas. When Peter was in his 20s, people would often ask me if I thought he would marry one day. My reply to them was that his bride would have to be one exceptional young woman. Alice is that exceptional and talented young lady we hope would make all Peter's dreams come true.